So I thought I'd just give you a quick little preview of one of my clients in the back end of their active campaign. They've got a fairly large list, 9,800 contacts. They're regularly adding new subscribers every day. People are unsubscribing as well. Most of the unsubscribes are coming from our list clean. So these are people that have subscribed and then have been getting emails regularly for 90 days, at least 90 days, and then they haven't opened anything. And so we're taking them off the list because we don't need to pay for those contacts to be in active campaign, and they're not adding any value to our company. So we're just going to take them off the list because they're either an incorrect email, they're just not interested, or the email has been marked as spam and they're no longer reading or seeing our emails. So let's just have a look at some of the automations that we've got set up here. Now this client, I came in and they had a whole heap of automations that were set up by a previous contractor. Things just weren't working. They had maybe 100, 125 different automations that were set up previously, and they just didn't work. There was a lot of errors in them, so I had to go through all these first bits here. They're all the original automations. I had to go through and basically copy all those automations, put them into a new workflow, add in some new emails, fix all the email copy, fix all the landing page integrations, all the tagging, all the third-party integrations. I had to redo the whole funnel from the very beginning. And what we did when we started this funnel is we created what's called a automation master. And what this basically is, this is really the crux of every automation that you should build, or that you build an active campaign, is that all of your automations need to be linked somehow. And you need to be able to see where all of your contacts are at any moment. And this is, another word for this would be called a sales funnel. And most people get this wrong in that they set up all these individual automations, but they don't link them correctly, and they don't know when users are falling out of their automations, when they're getting missed, where they're getting stuck. They don't really have any goals set up, and goals are really powerful as well in ActiveCampaign. So this is the master all automations. So this runs whenever a contact subscribes to any of Brent's lists, and they don't have the tag import. So we use that tagging import. That tag import when we add contacts via a CSV from an external list. So here they get the tag, which allows them access to the membership site, the free membership site of his site. Then we sync the contacts with this automation here to his WordPress. So we set up a user profile in his WordPress. We send them through to an onboarding sequence. After they finish that, we then check, have they logged in or not? Yes, they have logged in, then we'll skip the login sequence. If they haven't logged in, then we start the login sequence, and then immediately after starting that login sequence, they get their lead magnet. So when they first subscribe, they get 3 emails. They get the onboarding email, they get the, hey, here's your login details email, and here's the thing that you subscribed for email. Then after that, they'll get a series of a couple more login emails from this automation here, and I'll show you that in a minute. To get them to log in. And all of the automations, they all have a goal to them. And that's really important because we want to see if onboarding, get user login, if the user is actually completing what the goal of the automation. So let's just have a look at the get user to login. There we are. And you can see here we've got another one here, get user to complete the profile. And that's because Brent's got a series of questions and a questionnaire on his website to get the user to fill out so he knows a little bit more about his contacts. So here we've got the series of emails that go out to get the user to log in. There's 5 or 6 emails here. Each of these is slightly different. I set all these up for Brent. We can preview a couple of those. So here's what they look like, mostly text. We've got all the information being pre-filled. And this is synced to WordPress as well. So when a new user joins up, we saw that first automation there. It pushed all their data to WordPress, and then back from WordPress, we get their login, their username, their password, and their link to login. And that's what we use. We then auto-populate that with conditional text into all of these emails. So they've got that there and they can log in at any time. So they'll get a series of emails every couple of days until they log in. So here we've got the login goal. And the goal is that when they visit the URL, welcome members, which is the first page when they log in, or if they visit the members firerecruitment.com.au, which is the second page that they see after they've finished their onboarding, which is that first page. So if and whenever a user reaches that goal, they'll jump from this series of emails all the way to the bottom, and they'll skip however many emails are left, and they'll finish the automation. And we can actually see how many users have completed this goal by going to our goal reports. And that's really important because we want to know what is, how successful is this automation. We can also see it here. So we can see that 9.5% of people that subscribe to our list end up logging in. And that means that 90% of the people that Brent is advertising to that join his marketing list never log in to his website and download the free ebook. And so this is actually one of the parts that we're optimizing at the moment. And so we've added in some onboarding emails, we've changed the copy of these emails, we've split tested some subject lines and everything else. And you can see here the open rates of the emails tend to drop off towards the end. You've got the first email, which is where most people log in, and the active users log in here. And then as they get more emails, they're less and less likely to open them, to read them, and less likely to log in. So what happens if they get to the end of this sequence and they haven't logged in? Well, we'll wait a week, which is what these 60 users are doing. And then we go back up to the top and we repeat the process. And that will repeat for up to 90 days. At which point, if after 90 days they haven't opened any emails, they haven't logged in, then they get cleaned from the list. But if they do log in, then that automation ends and they move on with the automation master. And so we get their lead magnets. After their lead magnets, they get invited to our free webinar, which is actually where Brent gets most of his sales. We can have a look at that as well to see how many people are registering to the webinar, how many people actually attend the webinar, how many people watch the replay, how many people buy the special webinar offer. We can see all of that in the goals that we've got set up in ActiveCampaign. Now, if they don't make a purchase in the webinar, then they'll go on and they'll be offered our tripwires. And we've got 5 different tripwires here that they get offered. They're just a $7 ebook, and there's a little sequence of 5 or 6 emails for each of those. Now, the important thing here is that he's got 5 different lead magnets, 5 different tripwires, 5 different video courses, and each of them is an individual sales funnel. So Brent's actually got 5 sales funnels working for him. And so the user will be offered, if they subscribe up to his first lead magnet up the top here, they get access to the first lead magnet. Then they'll be invited to the webinar. And then after the webinar, they'll get access to the tripwire that's relevant and related to that first lead magnet. And then they'll, whether or not they purchase that, if they purchase the tripwire, then there's a wait of 1 week before they get offered the video courses. And then they'll get offered the video course that is related to their tripwire and which is related to their original lead magnet. So he's got 5 video courses there. If they purchase that, then they have a wait there for a period of time. I think it's 3 months. It's a fairly expensive video course. I think $200 or $300. If they don't purchase that, then we go on to offering them the membership. And this is a monthly membership, which is his main income for his business. He's making about $10,000 from his per month from his monthly membership, and that's really what we're pushing in the webinar, which is right up the top here. And then we're pushing it again towards the end of his sales funnel. If they don't take up the membership, then we offer them coaching, because not everyone wants to subscribe up to being a member, but some people just want to talk to someone and have a one-on-one conversation. And so we're running a coaching automation here. This is a 5-part automation. So they have to visit the coaching website. Once they reach that goal, then we're pushing them to fill out the form on the website. Once they reach that goal, then we're getting them to fill out the questionnaire once they reach that. Then we're getting them to schedule a time in Brent's calendar. Once they reach that, then there's a follow-up to make sure they actually attended the call. And each of those 5 steps has a series of manual follow-ups and automated follow-ups based on whether or not the user has completed that step. And so we've actually created a deals, which I'll show you as well, a deals pipeline for the coaching funnel. And that's because this is Brent's most expensive part of his funnel, and users that are getting to this stage are the ones that are most engaged, the ones that are most likely to buy coaching. And he's selling coaching for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So it pays to have a manual follow-up here. And he's got a sales team that cold call those contacts. He's got a sales team that email them and follow them up as well manually to see where they're at. So once they've reached the coaching, then we offer them, if they don't purchase the coaching or membership, then we offer them the webinar a second time. So they get a chance to attend the webinar a second time, and we're only offering them the webinar a second time if they haven't attended it the first time. So we're checking for that tag there. If they attend, then we skip down. We wait 2 weeks. Now, anyone that gets to this stage of the funnel hasn't become a member, and they haven't bought coaching. So they could have bought a tripwire, they could have bought a video course, they could have bought nothing. But if they get to this stage of the funnel, then what we do is we restart the funnel. And this is important because Brent has got actually 5 funnels built into this master automation. And so this automation here offers up each of those 5 lead magnets that Brent's got, plus a series of blogs that are relevant to the lead magnets, so it's not all sales, 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 sales. And then if the user subscribes up to download one of those lead magnets, they will end the automation and they'll start it from the beginning again. Checks to see if they log in, does the onboarding unless they've already received it, and then they get their lead magnet and they start the whole thing over a second time or a third time or a 5th time. Now, after they've gone through 5 times or 2 or 3 times, depending on how many times they opt in, if they only opt in once and they're offered the other 4 opt-ins, then they just finish the automation at the end here. But if they opt into all 5 opt-ins, they'll actually go through this master all automation cycle 5 times before they end it. And so we're really maximizing, and that could be over a period of 3, 4, 5 years, depending how long it takes them to go through the cycle. Now, if at any time they purchase the membership or the coaching, they'll end this master automation. And that's important because we don't want to send emails to our clients that have already purchased what we're trying to get them to sell, to buy. And so we've got this goal in here, and we can see at the end of the day how well this automation is going to achieving that goal. So let's quickly have a look at the deals that we've got set up for Brent. We can see here this is his coaching funnel. He's already also got one for the webinar. There we go. So we've got people that register for the webinar, people that have attended, and people that have attended and need to be followed up with a manual follow-up. Nice and easy for his sales team to do. Then here we've got all of his coaching contacts. You can see his sales team are regularly following these up. We've got people that visit his coaching page. These are kind of like a warm lead. They're kind of cold still because they haven't actually filled out the "Hey, I want coaching" form. They haven't engaged at all with the coaching page, but they've at least visited the page, and we've tracked them, and they're showing up here. You can see Brent's testing one here, Facebook edition. So once they fill out the coaching invite, then we've got our leads here. We can see Brent's tested it again. So he's always testing the funnel, which is really important to make sure that you understand how it works and that it's still working how it should. Because funnels do break down. URLs change, third-party plugins on WordPress change, and they stuff up, and you have to fix things in your funnel all the time. It's not just a one-time setup and that's it. There's always an hour or 2 each month just to test it and see how it's going. So we've got users that have filled out the coaching invite. Now, if they visit the page and then they fill out the coaching invite, their user will move from this box to this bucket. And then once they fill out the questionnaire, they'll move from there to there. And then once they fill out the application call, they move to here. And then once they fill out the call, they move here to the post-call follow-up. That's after the call happens. And so we've got 7 users here that have had a call in the last couple of days, and now the sales team has to follow these users up. We've got 1 user that has scheduled a call, but their call hasn't happened yet, so they're sitting in the green box. And we've got 4 people that have submitted the coaching invite, but they haven't finished the questionnaire. So these are good people for us to, or 3 people minus if you exclude Brent, these are good people for us to manually follow up, give them an email, give them a cold call, see how they're going, and actually push them into filling out that questionnaire and then moving them further down the funnel. And that's really what our deals and pipeline does for Brent. So let's have a quick look at some of the other goals that we've got. Getting user to complete the profile. It's so important to have goals here, because I can see immediately that once a user logs in, even though we're only getting 9.5% of people logging in, I can see that 43.9% of them, once they log in, fill out their profile. And that's quite a long step. That's actually 5 URL pages for their profile. So that's the importance of goals. And a lot of people don't have goals in their automations, and that's really where they fall down, because you can't see what is working and what isn't working. So that's a bit of an overview of Brent's funnel. I hope I haven't gone too long for you. Okay,